Hello all, Havoc here. So as we turn on the nanite factory, we're going to do some expedited fast forwarding. So yeah, we turn it on and it takes off and it goes and welds up all the places I've been landing because thruster damage is turned on. So it starts wreaking a little bit of havoc on that. Havoc, funny. And yeah, it just repairs everything. I saw it in this clip here. It went back and actually repaired our hydrogen tanks and stuff. And then it gets to work. You can see barely on the left hand side where there's a red text. That's where our beacon is for repairing. I docked our little cruiser on top of this and moved it out, so we had a little bit of room to get things done. Yeah, there's a lot going on with this, and these nanites are really making it a lot easier to build larger ships. It took, I'm going to say, almost 2 weeks for me to weld up the Mark II Kestrel. And that was with using welding ships and a fleet of assemblers and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it's just amazing to watch this and to know that I'll be able to build while these things are welding. We're going to move around a little bit here and check out some more of the ship as the video progresses. We went with the time lapse today because I was literally not able to get to the other parts of the process that I was trying to do before this. So I figured we go ahead and get the building part done, and then we can add in all the parts that we want to modify once the ship is moving. Once the upper deck, bottom deck, and the center section of the ship are done, I plan on coming back and carving in all the auxiliary thrusters, because we'll have a better idea of where the body line of the ship is going to be. But for now, this gives us forward and back motion, so we'll be able to get in and out of the bay easier. I have a feeling that we're going to end up needing to open up this hole to this a little bit more. I was amazed that we had enough components and materials to actually complete 2 of the thrusters. When I had actually acknowledged the fact that those had completed building, and my jaw almost hit my keyboard. Pretty amazed. We see across the top the cargo bay doors are starting to be complete as they get welded into place. I'm really not sure about the placement of that cargo door. I think I'm going to actually end up removing it later and just replacing it with decking, because with our moon pool setup, the weight is in the bottom of the ship. I think it's going to be better off that we have that for docking of ships versus an auxiliary door. I don't see us doing like pass-through or anything like that, but I don't know. We can see how things line up later on. Maybe that's where our docking color will be. We open up both doors and we can actually place something inside the ship and dock internally. I don't know. Something we can look into. So yeah, it continues to build, and I start to see red dots appear on the side, and I actually do get kind of nervous because we did have that one ship come so close on that flyby. So as these continue to build, I keep seeing more and more of these red dots appear on our HUD. It really gets me more and more nervous. It's amazing seeing all those little nanite darts flying back and forth. So you can, a little bit more clear now that that block is finished, but you can see the beacons right below that large thruster on our left side, right near the HUD. There's that little purple beacon sitting there just pulsing away. I'm not sure where the range is for the nanites. Is it from the beacon, or is it still relative to the base nanite factory? But they do end up reaching the nose of the ship, so even as far away as the nose is from the nanite factory now, they still do get pretty far. So keep in mind that this is sped up 2 times, so this took a touch over 40 minutes to complete. So this was definitely a very nice process, considering it took 40 minutes. It seems like a lot, but how long this would take me to weld up every single one of these blocks after placing them, plus going back, the back and forth time alone, would be tremendous, because my limited inventory or the ship it would take to get inside here. It's real nice to be able to be conceptual in a ship design, bring it as far as we have, and then weld it. Yeah, overall, I think the shipbuilding is going to be pretty rock solid. And here we go. We're going to take a little bit further look inside the ship, get a good overall idea of what we got going on. It's amazing how it picks different places to go. This is where I come back and check on the assemblers, like, what's going on in here? Because I did queue them up to use, for it to use the assembler and the nanite controller to work in tandem. So I wanted to get a better shot of what's going on down the main corridor. And I remembered, wait a minute, how much power is this thing using? So we're going to take a look at our inventory here on uranium and see what's going on. So we got 250 in one and about 80 in each. That divvy it up a little bit so we can have a little bit more distributed amount of uranium between each. We're going to park here for a little bit and look down the main corridor. So you guys were talking about in the comments from the last episode to remove the refinery and some of the other equipment to make room. So you can see that we have the battery rack. There's plenty of walking space up there, and then we have down the left and the right side where the sloped parts are. We're able to get around the arc reactor and the storage modules. So there's plenty of room to walk around. There goes one of the containers being built now. So I'm not quite sure if there is a need to relocate all that equipment. I think the way it's set up now is pretty sufficient for what we're gonna do. I mean, in our last couple series, last season or two, we went no holes barred, collected absolutely as much of everything we possibly could. We were knifing asteroids in half, in fact, to get more resources. I'm not sure if we're going to need to go that route this time. I think if we build smart and we build straightforward, I think it's going to be a better plan for the long run. The overall goal is to take this ship, go to another planet, set up another base, and then so on and so on. This ship here does not need to have as much resources as we've collected before. Here we recognize that the nanites stopped. They actually stopped coming, and the inventory's empty, and we're like, well, what's going on? There's all kinds of stuff in here. What's going on over here? Nothing's going on here. Why? Give it some more iron and realize, oh, hey, you're trying to make thruster components. We don't have any platinum. So we nix that, and it gets back to work. So I think this is where it would be nice to have a couple assemblers in tandem with this. It would create the parts faster and less possibility of choking up on a single part, I think. I'm not quite sure. but we'll do a quick little tour inside here. So we have the decking on the left-hand side there, and then the batteries. And then there's the ramp to get up top into the bridge. And you can see it welded all the way to the front. And here's where we checked all the component levels. It almost finished this second thruster right there. I was kind of amazed that we had that many components. Still thinking this is the best view in the house. Checking on oxygen levels just to make sure, because I was semi-AFK for this. I'd get into a certain spot and kind of kick back and watch the show. So I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to turn around and see that sad red screen of death. Yeah, overall this is a fantastic process. I mean, as long as you have the power resources to facilitate them, I highly recommend this mod. It is really awesome. If anything, I would make the ship a little bit larger just to put one of these on board the ship. But again, not knowing the overall power we'll be able to produce, I think we have plenty of batteries to run the nanite factory, but still, just not sure. I think once this thing gets built up, we get that arc reactor online, and we see how much power it does actually produce, then I think we're really going to be into the to knowing where we want to go with things. I think the batteries and solar combined are going to make the ship really efficient for power, and then when we really get down and dirty for power management, we can turn on that arc furnace, or keep saying arc furnace. You guys did in comments as well. I saw a couple people that said, hey, yeah, use arc furnace. It'll produce power. So, not the only one. So, yeah, when we get the arc reactor online, we'll know how much power we'll be able to do. I think we're literally going to run on batteries until everything's just tapping those batteries, and then we'll go back to the arc reactor. So, yeah, plenty of room to walk around down here. And you can see our ore detector and our radios down here. Then I realized, you know what, let's go throw those gyros in that we were talking about. This is a perfect spot for them. I was going to do 4 and realized I didn't have enough components. I was like, man, 2's enough for now. It'll get us moving at least. And I realized a flaw with going up that little ramp stair thing is you can't sprint, at least not till it's finished, because you catch your toes on each one of the seams. Oh, I realized the thrusters were on as well, and so they're already draining our minuscule amount of power that we have in our batteries. So by this time we're 26 minutes into building. We're about 13 minutes into the video, and it's amazing how much has been built so quickly. You know, 26 minutes doesn't seem like a lot, but actually, sorry, 36 minutes into building, and it doesn't seem like a large amount of time, but considering how much was actually built on this ship in 2 days, basically. Let's see, if I was to consider how much build time we have between the skeletal frame and now, I'd say probably between 4 to 5 hours, counting this 40-ish minutes of nanite time. So overall, this ship is getting built really fast. So I can see a shipyard having 2 or 3 of these nanite controllers, several large reactors, and building a massive, true capital ship in little to no time. Obviously, it would be awesome to have unlimited resources and like a creative mode and experience, but with that same regard, you'd be placing blocks in creative mode anyway. So between this episode and next episode, I'm gonna have to do a ton of harvesting of resources. I thought I brought a lot back, but I've only scratched the surface. Need a metric ton of platinum. Yeah, platinum. We need a lot of silicon, a lot of nickel, a lot of cobalt, a lot of the minerals that we have not collected yet. The main one I'm going to start working on is the platinum, so we can get all the thrusters online. So here we are walking around inside a little bit more, and this upper deck section is literally, for lack of a better term, a waste of space. That's why I was wondering why you guys were saying I need to move this equipment around, is because there is already a lot of space that is not being utilized. So if more equipment does need to be inserted, we're going to be able to have room because we have a lot of it that's not even being used right now. So that was me going back to make sure that there wasn't something choking up the production again. Yeah, this has literally been one of the coolest starts to a ship that I think I've personally been a part of. I try to do some off the wall stuff, and I mean, like on server play, I tried to build like a back on the Tinker server. I tried to building a ship that flipped end for end. It had a rotator block to get to the welders and the grinders, and it used the same cockpit to get between them. And you know, I try to think outside the box on a building stuff. I really don't like building stuff that other people have done, unless it's like over the top cool. Let's say like a Millennium Falcon or something like that. But everybody does that stuff, so that just doesn't work for me. Most of the time I try to build function first. This is one of the first times I've really tried to take more of a design side to the making sure the aesthetics are good. Yeah, it's a little bit different because I have like 4 different ship designs in my head that I would like to go with, and they're fighting each other for supremacy of which one's going to come out. You know, I'm looking at all these different influences between all these different video games and movies, and it's like, oh, I want it to look like this, or I want it to look like that, and I'm not sure where we're going to go with it. But speaking of aesthetics, you know, we're going to try to fix a few things here real quick here, and any second now I'm going to move. Wait for it. Wait for it. In case you haven't noticed, I'm narrating over the sped up footage, and that's why, yeah, it's kind of interesting because I know what I do in the video. It's just a matter of when it happens. So breaking that 4th dimension. But I'm always talking to you guys anyway, so I guess it's not really doing it. Not pulling a Deadpool per se. And... oh, come on now. Come on, Havoc, get to work. Do something productive. I think here's where I recognize that there's something just not right. Yeah. I'm like, I don't like this. I want a slope in here. I have no inventory. What? Ah, wait. I know what I'll do. I'll just steal this one. And they'll rebuild it. And that's what I did. And the amazing part is so we put this little plate in. There we go. That's what we wanted. And we turn around and look, and sure enough, that's what they're doing. I'm like, yeah, they're fixing it. So again, this is where that landing gear hit in the last episode. Really derpy moment. Just not even recognizing the fact I have landing gear hanging down like 15 meters off the bottom of the boat. And it's like, come on. So we get this repaired up really fast. It's pretty cool. And then within no time, they're out there and the nanites are repairing it, putting it together. So going for that symmetry, I know I got dinged a lot on that, on the Kestrel for that, so I was definitely working on that. And we come over here and check power. And it's not using as much power as I anticipated, but I also turned everything off as far as mining and stuff. So here's where I noticed that we really should look at multiple assemblers. And because we're needing nickel, we're needing silver, silicon, sorry. And it's just, it finishes up this 100 steel plates here, and then it tries to make that stuff again. So I kind of trick it a little bit and say, here, finish this 1,500 steel plates, because we still need a lot of steel plates in this building. This building is nowhere near complete. And yeah. So we're going to wrap up the episode here. This is Havoc. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you liked this bit of video. Have fun. Keep gaming.